Okay, take two. I gotta start this from the beginning, but the phone is now no longer in my reach, so I don't have to worry about answering it. Okay, here we are. Day 66, 65, something like that, of our Corona confinement / retreat. I'm at work. You can tell because I've got my Grand View shirt on, and I can't believe it, the phone's ringing again, but hopefully my sister will be able to get it this time. Okay, so you get that feeling, who moved my cheese? Remember how you had that feeling when you were told that we needed to go into confinement? Well, now I'm starting to get it because I am back at work. Now, I'm not back at work as it normally would be. The campground is still only going to be very lightly populated because we have rules that we can only fill up to 50% vacancy. I was very wise yesterday when I said I should start at 10, and I probably should have done it at 10 before people started coming in. So learn from your mistakes, point number 1 for the day. All right, so I'm starting to feel like who moved my cheese because I had a totally uncommitted schedule aside from my jazzercise, and all of a sudden I'm back into the working realm. So you got to think about that for yourself as well. The one day, if you're not working now, very soon this opportunity is probably going to be behind you. And so the thing with who moved my cheese, it's when our perceived good is all of a sudden gone. So today we're talking about, and for those of you who already heard this, I got to do it again because I had to start over. It's also, lest we forget, National Vanilla Pudding Day, National Road Trip Day. I'm not taking a road trip till this is all over. And it is National Solitaire Day, and that we can all do. Okay, from the beginning. Today we are looking at the topic, Who Moved My Cheese? And that is a book, a business management book that was written many years ago. And it is about 2 little mice and 2 little people. And the mice are Sniff and Scurry, and the little people are Hem and Haw. Now, in metaphysics, we've talked about the name means the nature of. And so we think about those 2 names. We think about Sniff and Scurry. And those basically, they're looking for something. And then we have the names Hem and Haw. Now, those don't have any forward direction to them at all. It's just, more laid back, more mellow. Well, the essence of the story is that every day Sniff and Scurry and Hem and Haw go off to find cheese. That's what they eat. That's their thing, and they do it every day. Clearly, Sniff and Scurry go out there for it, whereas Hem and Haw are a little bit more laid back, take my time. And so if you look at the nature, which are you? Are you a Sniff type, a Scurry type, a Hem, or a Haw type? What is your nature? Well, one day, when Sniff and Scurry were out looking for the cheese, they found a mother load of it. It was a lot of cheese. And they were so happy, and they said, oh boy, we have got it made now. And every day, they didn't even hardly have to practice. In the beginning, they'd put on their little running shoes and little sweat outfits, and off they'd go. So now they had this big bunch of cheese, so they kind of took it a little easier. Instead of running, they walked, and they enjoyed all the cheese they wanted. Well, of course, Hem and Haw eventually also found the cheese too. Now, Snip and Scurry started to have an observation. And that observation was that the pile of cheese was starting to go down. It was starting to disappear. And they said, oh my, we better keep an eye on this. And Hem and Haw came, ate, did their thing, and never gave it another thought. And one day, when Snip and Scurry went out to get the cheese, it was gone. And they were like, oh my gosh, well, we knew this was coming. We better get going. And they went off to find more cheese. Well, when Hem and Haw got there, they were horrified. They hadn't been paying attention to the fact that the cheese was going, and now it was gone. Oh, they were worried. They were angry. They were entitled. Who moved my cheese? What did they do with my cheese? And they were so engrossed in that they stayed right where they were, sitting there and moaning and groaning and griping about the fact they had no cheese. But Snip and Scurry were sniffing and scurrying and looking for it. Cheese, in this case, metaphysically represents what is really important to us. And some of us attend to what's really important for us. They stay aware, they take care of it, whereas others may get to take it for granted, and even others may feel entitled. If you recall in the story, they didn't do anything for the cheese. They just looked for it, and one day it was there. Well, when we had these changes in our world, when we began our period of self-isolation, social distancing, what was the cheese that you were missing? Who took your cheese? What did you feel had been taken from you? I know one thing, it would be freedom, your ability to go around and do what you want. And another one may have been, your job, your money. Where did that go? How am I going to make more money? How am I going to feed myself? How am I going to feed my family? And you might have gotten so involved in your cheese being gone that you didn't take the time to look at where you might find new cheese. Now, the purpose of doing our daily visits is to figure out how are we going to come out of this okay. And like in the story, the cheese is gone. It's gone. Life as we once knew it does not exist. But that does not mean that a wonderful new life is not awaiting us. We don't want to have the fear and doubt. We don't want to think that God is not going to take care of us. We have to let go of that so we can go out and find the new cheese. Now, in the course of this, there were some things that Sniff and Scurry learned that Hem and Haw didn't learn so well. One of the first things is that if you do not change, you will go extinct. If they sat there and waited for that cheese to come back, they would be extinct. It took Hem and Haw a lot longer to work from that because they were trying to do it their way. And we're faced with that every day. Think of the people. There's people out protesting because they want their way. They don't want to be in. They don't want to have to try to take care of themselves while this goes by. I think that's probably a little bit like Hem and Haw, not wanting to wait around and see when things get better. Another thing they had to learn is, what would you do if you were not afraid? Hem and Ha were stubborn and afraid. Snip and Scurry went out there and did it. They weren't thinking about being afraid that there would never be cheese again. They went out there to find the cheese. So, what would you do if you were not afraid? Think of the things that you might do now that will help you to have it better when this is over. You know, we are each our own best cheerleader or our own worst inhibitor. It's up to us. As we go through this, whenever you're feeling they took your cheese, think again. Ask yourself, what is my part in doing this? What can I do to find new cheese? You see, Snip and Scurry weren't looking for the old cheese. Hem and Ha kept going back over and over again to Cheese Station C, which is where they had the original cheese. They kept going back and looking and waiting and digging holes around and trying to find that cheese. But it would never be there because it was gone. Snip and Scurry went off and they found their cheese in Station N. One of the lessons we have to learn from this is change happens. And it is in our best interest to learn to adapt to the changes that happen. We have to define what our cheese is and to do the best we can to be prepared should change happen, to be prepared to deal with that change. We have to learn that there is no absolute security, that we help to create our security. Ultimately, we trust God that things are going to work out. Now, to trust God doesn't mean that God's going to come and do the work for you. It means you open your mind to the ideas that will come to you, that will help you to seek the good and not to be afraid. One of the big things that's in the news all the time today is the scarcity issue. People are afraid of a break in the food chain. Now, first of all, there have been some issues. I'm having a bigger issue with like a tissue chain. I can't get tissues, and I get post-nasal drip, so every morning I need to blow my nose. So I need to get tissues, and I'm still hanging on with some toilet paper, hoping it makes it through to the end. As far as the food scarcity, I really think that we have to look, whether it's food or money or anything else, we have been so abundantly blessed that we have so much, we don't even realize how much we've got. The good part of this whole thing could be we could stop our excesses. Remember we talked those first days about cleaning out a junk drawer? Did you do that yet? Or a closet or other drawers to see what you can release? We eat, and I don't because I'm a vegetarian, so it's not my issue, but we eat more meat. The Americans eat more meat, far more than they need. The average countries eat far less meat, and you don't have to take in as much. And you can take, I've said it before, take a pound of burger and feed 10 people, and nobody's going to feel like they were shortchanged. It's not what you got, it's what you do with it. Now, do you want to be a Snip and Scurry and go out there and find new good? Or are you going to be a Hem and a Haw Wait for someone to put that cheese back. Wait for, blame people that your cheese is gone. Who do you think is going to come out of this better? Sniff and scurry or hem and haw? Who are you? Think on that today, and I hope your day is blessed and beautiful. And think about your cheese. What is your cheese? And you also think about the scripture that says, do not lay up your treasures here on earth, where the, let's say cheese, do not lay up your cheese here on earth where mold can cover and thieves can steal, but lay up your cheese, your good, your knowing God's will for you is good and only good. That lies in higher consciousness. So lift yourself up. Know that you will find your cheese. First you got to name it, then you got to claim it. Well, you have a great day, and I am going to go back to work. But I know, and we know, we're holding our campers accountable that we're not that free yet. We're taking our steps, baby steps, back to the world we want. Have a great day. God bless you, and know that I behold the divinity in you. Bye-bye.